So, Q&A time. Remember how I said I was gonna do a Toronto vlog? I did my first YouTube video and then was gonna do a vlog about what I did in Toronto and what I ate and blah, blah, blah. That did not happen. My sister wasn't exactly a fan of being on the vlog, and I can't say I blame her. I don't blame her at all, but here, I'll show you the one clip I did get. I'll just insert it here. What else? What not to wear was at 8 p.m. You're talking in Australian accents, people think you're actually from RMIT. Okay, RMIT. What does RMIT stand for again? What does it stand for? You're not gonna be able to be in this. I don't want to talk in it. Okay, so I just got to Toronto this morning. I'm with my sister. And she's refused to ever be in a vlog that I do. She's very worried about herself making it big one day. She's a fashion designer, and one day having someone say, I saw you in that vlog one time. It's just going on the internet and people are gonna see it. So as you can see, I just didn't want to force her to do that. It was a really great long weekend though. What did we do? We went to Sweet Jesus. If you haven't been to Sweet Jesus, haven't lived, I don't think. Also, ice cream is my all-time favorite food, and if I had to have one thing before I died, that's what it would be. So we had Sweet Jesus, that was great. We went to Pizza Libretto, which is always really good. Where else? It was definitely an eating trip. I feel like whenever I go out there, I just force her to have all the junk that she never normally would. What else? I don't know, some really good brunch at a few places. I met up with my friends Beverly and Allie, and we did some workouts. I went to Totem, which is a really cool gym out there. Beverly started teaching boot camp, so I went to her boot camp. It was at F45, which was really sweet. That was good. Allie is a trainer for Equinox in Yorkville, so I had to work out there, and then we just kind of went for lunch, and that was really great to catch up. We used to work together. I used to live in Toronto and work at Equinox on Bay Street, so that was great. And yeah, good trip. And now I'm here for a week until Quentin, my boyfriend, and I head to New York, which we're freaking out excited about, counting down the days. Neither of us have ever been. So that's gonna be really, really good. I'm really glad we've gotten a lot of recommendations from friends. So yeah, we're gonna just another eating trip. I'm trying to be really healthy and on it while I'm here and just make sure that I'm getting all of my workouts in, just because I know that there's gonna be a lot to try there, and I'm definitely going to. So anyways, I said I was gonna be doing a Q&A on Instagram, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, I haven't really gone through the questions. I'm just gonna do Instagram comments, and then I also screenshotted some that I had Snapchat to me. So I'll do some of those. The only ones I'm not gonna do, even though there was a lot in my DMs and comments, is ones on full supplement routines, just because to go through that is a whole other video in itself, and I definitely will make that in the future, but I can't right now. So, okay, let's do this. By the way, I took my case off because it's a Lumi case, and I got embarrassed to have it on this video, even though you can fully see it in a ton of my Instagram stories and stuff. I was at Urban Outfitters, and I was at I was checking out, and it was on sale, and I'm going on trips. I know that I'm really justifying it right now because I'm kind of embarrassed that I got something that Kim Kardashian advertises so heavily, but it works really well. Anyways, I'm sure you'll see it at some point. Okay, where's this photo? Okay, let's do it. One. This is a long one. Okay. What's the best way to get started coming up with a routine in the gym? I always hover around the cardio equipment, safe zone, but I never see any progress because I'm uncomfortable trying out the big weightlifting machines, i.e. the squat machine. 2, what do you think is the most underrated machine and or workout? Thanks, Johanna. Okay, this is a really good question, and I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. So the best way to get started coming up with a routine in the gym, I would say, and I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this, is to find another program. And the reason I would do that is because you're a lot better off doing something that has an actual structure to it that's going to allow you to progress and learn properly than kind of going in there and wandering around and seeing what's empty and then just going to that. I think regardless of what the program is, it doesn't necessarily mean going out and hiring a trainer that's gonna cost $120 an hour. Although that's a great option too if you can afford it. This way, it's just gonna make sure that someone who's a professional who understands what they're doing is gonna actually get you the results that you want. So Of course, there are millions of programs out there and that can be a little overwhelming in itself, but my best advice would be to, okay, if you're looking to do something online, I would just spend time researching it. Don't rush. I would start looking into the kind of results that you want. So if you're really looking to get a lot stronger and you want to do some sort of like powerlifting type program and get really, really proficient in all of your big lifts, start researching that. Read a lot of reviews, what people have to say. If you're looking to lose a little bit of body fat and focus on your cardiovascular endurance and tone, everybody's favorite word, so put on a little more lean muscle tissue, start researching that. And there's a ton of programs out there. I would just put in your time, kind of like usually, the more you're willing to spend means the higher quality and more in-depth program you're gonna get. I know it doesn't always work that way. I'm gonna be releasing this isn't supposed to be a plug, I didn't mean to have it results in that, but my program, the Fit Girl Gang, is gonna be released in the upcoming months. I'm hoping for September 1st. That'll be out there, and that really is to like help get you start being comfortable in the gym and then to progress you quickly through it and become really comfortable with all of those exercises. So that will be out soon, but there's a lot of similar programs that kind of do the same thing. So I would look into that. And I mean, really, when you're in the gym, like, yes, it's an intimidating environment, and yes, cardio seems safe, but you have to realize, and I actually just wrote a post about this recently too, is that no one, no matter how long they've been training for, or how strong they are, what they look like, has any right to judge you, because everyone's been a big, someone's actually calling me, 1 second. Hi, I'm filming a vlog right now. Don't say anything embarrassing. Don't say anything embarrassing.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you do anything for the trip? Like, did you look at any of those places?
Yeah, a bit. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, babe. Okay, I'm gonna go finish this.
Let's just make sure we get on that so we can. Okay.
Yep, I know.
I'm on lunch right now. I'll look at a couple places.
Okay, look them up and let me know where you really want to go.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Okay, sorry. You're gonna definitely see this later. He's talking about gyms in New York. We got something called Class Pass, so you can sign up for a ton of different gyms and fitness classes, and we're trying to like book in now so we don't miss them. Anyways, yeah, like you're gonna be intimidated, but they have no right to judge you. Everyone's been a beginner once, right? So I would say getting in there with a friend, just bring a friend who's been there before or who trains more regularly than you, and just kind of get confident, like going onto those machines and playing around with them. Keep things light, keep things, you know what I mean? Like don't necessarily see how heavy you can possibly go if it's your first couple times trying it, but just get comfortable with the movements. And also, YouTube is such a good resource. Even if you don't want to buy a fitness program, look up videos on YouTube of how to perform a goblet squat, how to perform a leg press. Like that is all there and it's so easily accessible. And I feel like that's something that like, I don't know, a lot of people don't take advantage of that they probably should. What was the last wording? She said, what is the most underrated machine and or workout? Okay, so I think that the most underrated machine isn't a machine at all. It's either doing body weight or dumbbell exercises. It's actually gonna be a lot more effective for you for the most part to start understanding how your own body moves and take advantage of your own weight and use dumbbells to help you with this, because when you're on a machine, the machine stabilizes for you, right? Like if I'm doing a seated chest press and I'm sitting up against the machine and I have my hands here and I'm pushing together, the machine's actually stabilizing my core for me. But if I'm standing tall, I'm squeezing my glutes and I'm bracing my core and I'm bringing my arms in toward each other, I'm still working my chest and I'm still strengthening my pecs, but I'm also strengthening my glutes and my core, and my whole body is gonna get stronger together. So I think that goes for any kind of dumbbell or free, like just body weight exercise, because you learn so much more about how to brace your core and stabilize yourself without that machine there. And you're gonna get a lot like more bang for your buck. Okay, next. I know who asked this one. Okay, so Stephanie asked, 1, what type of diet do you follow? And 2, how are you such a babe? Are you even real? Okay, thanks, Stephanie. So Stephanie's the best. She and her husband actually own a CrossFit gym that I used to rent to do my boot camps out of, and they're just like the nicest people. So what type of diet do you follow? I have gone through a lot of different diets. I think most people in the fitness industry have tried a lot. And for me now, a lot of other questions kind of tied into do you track your macros? I don't, but I do definitely recommend that everyone take a period of their lives, whether that's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, to learn how to track their macros. Because I think it's so helpful whenever you're planning out your day and you're trying to figure out what you should be eating to meet your needs, that you have an understanding of how many grams of proteins, carbs, and fats are actually in your food. Like if I looked at you right now and said, hi, whatever your name is, how many grams of protein are in a chicken breast? You do one of two things, and I know this because I say it to my clients all the time. They would be like, I don't fucking know. Why would I know? Or, I don't know. They would guess and usually guess wrong. Yeah, so anyways, the idea is it's really, really beneficial to track your macros so that you can understand how much of everything you're getting and then kind of make the adjustments that you learn that you need to be making once you know what you're getting already and what your goals are. The type of diet I follow right now. So right now I would say that I follow a high protein, higher fat, lower carb diet. I don't cut out carbs completely whatsoever, but I definitely do stick to lower carbs. I did a full day of eating actually last week. It was a little meh, it was on Snapchat just because I was traveling that day. But I would say for me, right now, my biggest thing is to try to get a protein source, a large protein source at every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I typically, a day for me looks like an egg plus egg whites and veggies in the morning, a snack, like a morning snack of like a rice cake with, I love Laughing Cow cheese, so like some Laughing Cow cheese on it, or maybe a little bit of natural peanut butter. Lunch for me is usually a chicken breast, a ton of roasted veggies. I really like Brussels sprouts, onions, mushrooms, cauliflower, stuff like that. And then I'll use like spicy mustard, or sometimes I'll have cottage cheese on the side. I'm going through a big cottage cheese phase right now. So that's kind of my lunch. I'll have an afternoon snack. Sometimes it'll be like a protein shake depending on when I'm working out. And then dinner is very similar to lunch for me. It doesn't really change much. A big protein source. So whether that's fish, sometimes it's eggs if I'm just feeling lazy, because I feel like eggs are always the easiest to make. Sometimes it's chicken. Occasionally it'll be steak or pork, but I just don't make that as frequently. And then at night I have a pretty serious sweet tooth. So I'll have something that's like a little more sweet, whether that be just like, I love just frozen fruit, or I'll have another rice cake with sometimes some mashed up fruit on it and peanut butter, or kind of whatever I'm feeling. Sometimes yogurt, a little protein powder and berries, stuff like that. So I don't know, like there's not really a specific name for the kind of diet that I follow, but I would say that the major things that I focus on are making sure that I'm getting a big protein source in every meal. I am getting my healthy fats, and I do keep carbs lower just because I know my own body and I spent a lot of time playing around with it. And I'm someone who typically, because I have a lot of sugar cravings, and I always have, the more carbs I have, the more I crave sugar. So I do kind of keep my carbs on the lower side and then replace that with a higher fat diet. And I find that gives me a lot more energy. I'm not necessarily saying that's what you guys need to do, but yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. What's next? Sorry, my Instagram keeps closing. I'm not gonna get through that many of these unless you guys want to be watching this for an hour. Oh, best protein bar in terms of taste, healthiness, benefits, and price, and where to get it. I'm gonna show you guys because I definitely have a wrapper in my bag, so hold on one sec. Okay, so I think this is what YouTube people do, right? They like put their hands behind it. Look at my product. This is my favorite protein bar. I found it probably about 2 months ago, and I'm like obsessed. Obsessed to the point of I don't buy boxes because I know that if I bought a whole box, I would just not stop eating them. So I probably have this like every second day. So reasons it's my favorite. Reason number one, have you guys ever had Hershey's cookies and cream bars? Those were my favorite chocolates as a kid, and like I would hoard them on Halloween and trade people for them. So that was like, it tastes exactly like that. This is a white chocolate cookie flavor, and they're called Grenade Carb Killa bars. Killa, I think it's British, I don't know. Yeah, so the reason I like it is one, because of the taste. Two, there's 22 grams of protein in it, which is pretty normal for a protein bar. I would say that's like fairly average, but that's good. Super good protein source. For me, I know I was talking about food a little right before this when I was talking about what kind of diet I follow. I do try to get about a gram per pound a day of protein, which to some of you guys might mean nothing. But that means that, say I was 200 pounds, because I don't think it's necessarily good to talk about my exact weight on here, then I'd be trying to get 200 grams of protein a day. So I'm trying to get about roughly my body weight in protein every day. So 22 grams is like a decent chunk for how many calories this is. I think it's 240 calories. Okay, the reason I don't know how many calories this has, and this is so weird, is this is not from North America, and it's done in kilojoules, which has a different measuring system. I'm gonna sound like an idiot right now on YouTube, sorry YouTube. Then calories. Is it in kilojoules? I don't know, what if it's wrong? Okay, it does say calories underneath. I'm so sorry. Don't take this out because I deserve to feel stupid. Per 60 gram bar, so that's how much this bar is, it's 215 calories. Also pretty standard. My favorite thing about this bar though is that there's only 2 grams of net carbs. And I know that Quest bars forever have been a big deal because they usually only have 3 or 4. And side note, net carbs means that you take the grams of carbs and then you subtract the grams of protein, or no, grams of protein. Sorry, Quentin, we have to take this out. So net carbs means that you take the grams of carbs and then you subtract the grams of fiber. And then also if there's erythritol or any other artificial sweeteners, you subtract that as well. So this one has in total, the total carbohydrates are 15.2 grams. Then you subtract the sweeteners, which is 12.7 grams. And then you subtract the fiber. So it's left with 2 grams. And there's only 2 grams of sugar in it. So that's really, really great, especially if you're someone like me who is trying to keep your carbs on the lower side. So yeah, 22 grams of protein, 2 grams of net carbs, and it tastes like heaven. So, oh, where do I get it? I get it at Popeyes. That's a Canadian supplement store that I don't even know if it's all across Canada or if it's just in certain provinces. Next question. Is pineapple on pizza okay or nah? Jasmine wants to know. Why or why not? Because I think it is, but all my friends are against it. Lol. Also really love your Insta snaps, just everything. You're so motivational. How do you maintain your positivity? Thank you, Jasmine. That's so sweet of you. That was really nice to read. Thanks. Sorry, but I really don't like pineapple on pizza. I love pineapple. I'm one of those people that doesn't think it goes together. I don't think I'll be able to change my mind. I'm so sorry. My go-to pizza is feta tomato for life, so you still seem like a really, really amazing girl. How do you maintain your positivity? And someone else asked something similar to that too. How do you stay so positive and post regular content on your platforms without looking overwhelmed? That's from Tess, she's a little cutie. So for me, I know that I'm a positive person. I've always been a positive person, but I think my biggest things would be, one, I love what I do with my life. Rosie, hi. Do you want to be on the YouTube? Hi. I love what I do with my life. Like, I feel so fortunate that I did figure out what I was really passionate about from a fairly young age. And because I kind of worked really hard to figure out how to turn that into a business, I'm able to do that every day. And I'm also able to be surrounded by so many positive people. Like, my life I am so lucky, and I feel like I make sure that I stop, and even when I'm stressed out or just really overwhelmed, because I do get stressed out really easily, and I stop to be grateful for the incredible people in my life. And that's like my mom, my sister, my boyfriend, so many of my close friends that are just like such positive people that I get to spend time with and be around. So I think it really is about being grateful for what you have and who you surround yourself with, because they are all positive people, and I think that we like bring that out in each other. Yeah, I would say that is it. How do you deal with muscle soreness? Okay, that's a really good question. I don't think I can pronounce her name right. Siopan. I'm really sorry if I messed that up so badly. Okay, so a couple things. So with muscle soreness, I would say number one is I do a lot of trigger point release, so a lot of really intensive foam rolling. I kind of figure out where I get the most sore muscle. So for me, that's really in my quads and along my IT band. And I spend a lot of time, especially before my workouts, getting on a roller and just like digging in. And when I find a knot, I press really hard, I breathe really deeply, and I try to release as much of the tension as possible. And spending a lot of time on rollers too is really, really good to get the blood flowing before your workouts, so you have improved mobility while you're actually training. And it just helps warm you up because it brings that blood flow to your muscles. So that's really big. Another one is I'm not gonna get completely into supplements or anything, but I do think that taking BCAAs after your workout, so branched chain amino acids, is really, really important for helping your muscles repair after the workout and also for like decreasing overall muscle soreness. So I take BCAAs every day. I just take them, well, okay, so there's a few different strands, but I take L-glutamine and L-carnitine separately in the mornings. I shake it into my water. Those are different amino acids. And then I also just take a BCAA blend that's like really delicious tasting at night, and I shake that into my water at night. And you know what's crazy is I've kind of been pretty religious with them now for a few months. I used to kind of be on and off, and I didn't realize how huge of a difference they were making. But I didn't want to be excessive, so I didn't pack them and bring them to Toronto with me. And then I was hanging out with my friend Beverly, and I couldn't figure out why I was so sore when we were training, because none of my workouts out there were that intense. So it just seemed really weird, and I realized it must have been because, well, I wasn't rolling while I was out there, but I also wasn't taking my BCAAs. So it's crazy how much that stuff can make a difference. I also would say that when you start any sort of new training program that's a bit of a shock to your body, and you're not really used to, I would just make sure that like you're going to be sore. It's not what you're used to. So make sure that you're preparing for that by spending enough time stretching, and the next day after the workout, moving around a lot. You're not gonna wanna move because you're gonna be sore, but the more you sit there, the more your muscles are gonna cramp up and the more you're gonna hurt. So if you can stretch and move, even like go for a light jog or something the next day, the more that soreness is gonna be relieved. And drink a lot of water. Staying hydrated helps. Okay. Your relationship with Star Wars. That's my older cousin. I love Star Wars. Without getting too into detail, when I was 5 years old, I may or may not have had a Star Wars fan club in my basement. Okay. That's all for that. I'm gonna do some that I screenshot from Snapchat because I don't have that much time left. Hey girl, I'd love to know how you grew your following and found your personal brand. That's really sweet. That's from Fit Nursepreneur. I'm not sure what her full name is, but thank you for asking. So I actually, and this isn't to get into another plug, but I get a lot of questions about that just because I have built my Winnipeg-based company, Aurea Fitness, here. So I've been building that since 2013, and that's definitely grown a lot. And then I've also been focusing on building my social media brand, and obviously it's not huge yet, but it is growing, and I am really proud of what I've done. So since I've had, especially over the last year, so many women ask me about it, I actually did something back in April and I had a workshop called She Starts, and it was an entrepreneurship and branding workshop that ended up just being so incredible. It was 25 women, and we all sat down, and I created a book of everything from how to like identify your brand and build your brand identity, to social media, to how to connect with your audience, all of that. So that was a really incredible day and a really big learning experience for me too. So we did that, and then because I'd already had it, and like put in all the work to put the booklet together for them, I decided I was like 50% of the way there. I may as well complete the book so that it didn't have to be paired with my own lecturing. And then it was there as a resource for anyone who asked me to buy. So it's now an ebook. I'll link it below. Yeah, not that you like have to go buy it or anything, but it's there and it's an option. It's kind of hard to just in a short Q&A talk about how everything that's gone on into building a brand, but I guess, and I know everyone says this, but I mean it so much, is just be genuine. Like, act the way that you act in real life. Talk to people that are watching you the way that you would to your own friends, and like be real about the person you are, and yeah, it'll just kind of happen. The way that I've been able to create relationships with people through Snapchat has been so incredible. And if I hadn't been able to get on there and just use my own voice and learn how to just be myself and talk, that never would have happened. So I know that that was huge. Also, the biggest compliment, and I think I do say this in my She Starts ebook, is the biggest compliment I've ever been given is when girls will say to me, when I read your Instagram captions, I can hear your voice talking, as if you were like talking out loud. And to me, that's so big because it means I understand my own voice and I'm speaking in the way that I really would speak, even when I'm just typing out a caption. So yeah, just learning your own brand identity, understanding your own voice, all the components that go along with understanding your brand identity. And being able to put that out there and use it to connect with people. I hope that's helpful. But yeah, I will link that below. Okay. Next, and I think this is gonna be the last one, just because the other ones were too long for me to get into in this Q&A, and I think it's already going really long, and this is from Tejal. Tejal. Crap, I gotta find it. Okay. So she was wondering about healthy, salty snack alternatives other than popcorn. Okay, so when it comes to healthy snack alternatives for any kind of snack, I feel like there's always a range, right? There's the super, super obvious, super healthy stuff, and then the slightly better alternatives than the junk food. So let's start with really healthy. I think the biggest thing with salty stuff isn't just the taste, but it's the constant ability to have that crunch and like kind of just be going and munching consistently. So number one for me would be Snap Pea Crisps because it's so satisfying to like bite into them. So I usually have a big bag of those in my fridge. You could have them plain, they're really great. Or if you're kind of a dip fiend like me, I will get light tzatziki, which I usually get the President's Choice brand, which is at Superstore, but you can get whatever kind. So I get the light tzatziki, or I'll dip them in hummus and I'll just kind of like have it there. And it's something that while you're working, if you're mindlessly munching away on Snap Pea Crisps, it's not as though you're gonna accidentally eat 700 calories of Snap Pea Crisps, you know? They're actually super good for you and you can eat a lot of them. So that's really great. You can really cut up any vegetables you want to replace that sort of salty, consistent munch. I just like Snap Pea Crisps are my favorite. So then I would say there's kind of like a middle of the road option, which I know you said other than popcorn, but I would actually argue that popping your own unsalted popcorn is probably one of the best things that you can do. It's a really low calorie and fairly low carb snack too. So just popping your own, if you have an air popper, I know that's kind of contingent on that. But I think there are unsalted, unprocessed bags of popcorn you can get too, like microwave popcorn. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, I think there are. So that's an option if you really love popcorn. And then what you can do too is just kind of put your favorite seasonings on top. So I mean, say you like cooking with, there's this one vegetable seasoning that I really love cooking with, and it's lower sodium than just throwing on salt. So you can put that on and then flavor it with that. And then instead of just dumping butter all over it, putting like a tablespoon of coconut oil and like really mixing it in. So that'll flavor it. Other options, so my mom just got this thing. I wish that I had it, I might get one. It's actually like a make your own chip maker, and you can make with any kind of vegetables. So something that I've always done is make like thinly sliced yam chips or beet chips. Basically, you just cut them up super, super thin, and then you can put them in the oven, bake them at super high temperature, and then they come out and they're ideally super crispy. The thing with that is though, they never have been as crispy as I've really wanted them to. And she got this little contraption. I'll talk to her more and I'll figure out what it is, and then I'll eventually put it on here, that makes them so crunchy that it's like an actual chip, but they're not deep fried. So it's the same thing. You can just like lightly spray the pan with olive oil and then put your thinly sliced chips on top. If you even have like a vegetable slicer, that makes it even faster. And then these come out like perfect. She's all annoyed. I went over there a couple weeks ago and she was all annoyed because it was really time consuming and you can only make really small batches at a time, but they were great. So that was really good. You can also buy your own vegetable chips. I would say that's sort of a slightly less healthy option. I mean, it's still healthy, but it's not the same thing as just eating vegetables because those usually are deep fried. So with that, I would say it's just like portion control, making sure that you're not having a really excessive amount. One of my favorite snacks ever is at the St. Lawrence Market, actually, so also in Toronto. And I feel like every time I go to Toronto and go and get these is just bulk beet chips. beet chips that you just get out of like a big bulk container like you would almonds or walnuts, and you can scoop it into a bag and the guy weighs it for you. And they're so good, but they are a lot higher calorie because they've obviously been deep fried first to get that super, super good crunch. Other options that you can do are things like little rice cakes. Actually, okay, I grabbed this. I found these at Superstore. They're called Ryvita whole grain snack breads. And the reason I like them is because rice cakes are good and everything, but I feel like they're kind of bland and I just get sick of the rice cake texture, sort of, if that makes sense. These are really cool. They're kind of like little, I don't want to say they're like pieces of bread because obviously they're not as good as bread, but they're like little crispy wafers that are really good. They taste great. And I really like making them into these mini little crispy sandwiches. So this is really good because it's 3 slices for 60 calories and 10 grams of net carbs, which is nothing. So what I'll do is make like little mini sandwiches out of them. So I'll put on like a little bit of deli meat ham or chicken and a little bit of like just chopped up veggies and mustard, and super low carb option. That's really satisfying too. So you can do that. It's sort of like the lettuce wrap thing, only then you still have that crunch from these. You can also do, like I was talking about before, these with like a Laughing Cow wedge is really satisfying to get kind of like a salty snack. And I would say those are probably my main go-tos for that. That's all, guys. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. I really appreciate it. And if you've watched this far, at this point, I don't know how long this is, but I have a feeling it's a while. Thank you so much. Let me know what you want to see next. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you guys later.